Hello and welcome to my channel, Megan Flips It DIY, a Halloween edition. And don't forget, if you like what you see, give this video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and if you could, leave a comment below. This will help my channel to grow. Now, let's get to crafting. Hello YouTube family. We're going to start our craft off today with this pumpkin wreath form from the Dollar Tree. And this skeleton material I also believe is from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to lay that out and iron the material with my Off Nova mini iron. And I'm going in with this Rust-Oleum black spray paint. And I'm going to spray the pumpkin wreath form. And then to prevent chipping, I'm going in with the Rust-Oleum clear. And I'm just going to give that a quick spray. Once the wreath form is dry and the material is ironed, I'm going in and cutting just around where the pumpkin is, not the stem, because it's the only part I'm going to need the material for. Once I have that done, I'm going to go in with my matte Mod Podge and give that material a good coating. And I'm going to lay it on my Dollar Tree cutting boards. That way I can keep the mess off my silicone mat. Now there was some fuzzies on this material. So with the Dollar Tree painter's tape, I just go in and defuzz it and then apply a heavy coating of the Mod Podge on the material. Once I do the whole piece of material, I set it off the side with my little pink fan to dry. While that's drying, I'm going in with these mini skeleton. It's a garland that I picked up from Dollar General probably a year or so ago. I'm going to pull them off and take off the jute cord that's around their necks. And then I'm going to take these 3D butterfly stickers from the Dollar Tree and I'm going to pull them apart. With the top sticker, I'm going to go in with my mini scissors from the Dollar Tree and cut the antenna and head off. I'll give you a closer look with the other sticker that I use, just like that. Then once I have that done, I'm going to bend the wings so that the body can be glued to the back of the skeletons. And just with a little hot glue, and if I could make a suggestion, if you go to do this craft, if you have a low heat glue gun, I would suggest using it because the high heat glue gun that I used did kind of melt the plastic a little bit. But moving forward, I'm going in with the Sharpie black paint pen and giving their eyes a little definement. Then once the material is dry, I'm going in with some high heat hot glue and just running a bead along the pumpkin wreath form and then setting that right on the stiffened fabric. I ended up switching out glue guns. I went with my Shore Bonder high temp detailed glue gun, I guess. It has a finer point to it because I was having trouble getting in between the bars on the pumpkin. Now once that's all glued down, I'm going in with this mesh cord and I'm going in with a piece that is double lengthed. I'm going to start gluing it and then I will wrap it around the outside. I don't know really what to call that. I guess the bar frame of the pumpkin, the outside. I'm at a loss for words for that. But then I'm going to glue it down to the bottom and I'm going to again do that on both sides. Once that is dried, oh, I did have a little bit of an issue with the one side. It would not adhere with the hot glue. So I just went in with a little E6000, ran it along the frame of the pumpkin wreath, set it down, put my little pink fan on it, and kept going. Once I have that done, I go in with some floral foam and I figure out where I want it and how big of a piece. And because I can't find anything to cut it with, I go in with my L-shaped angle square. Then I go in with the Apple Burl black paint and a sponge brush, probably from the Dollar Tree. And I just give both pieces a coat. It doesn't have to be a good coat. You don't have to cover all the green, but I wanted just enough so that if any of it showed, it would show black and be hidden better than if you put that green underneath. And with a little E6000 and a very tiny bit of hot glue, just because this is a high temp glue gun, and everybody knows the foam likes to melt under the high temp glue. Once I have that glued down, I go in with the Dollar Tree Floral Picks for Halloween. They have, I believe, purple and black, and they have little eyeballs in them. And a little bit of these dark greenery. I don't really know what they are. I had taken off the tags because I had used these for a centerpiece a few years ago, and I just saved them in case I wanted to use them for another project, and here we are using them at another project. So I'm going to fill up the sides with the flowers and this dark greenery and some spiders and whatever I have in my picks. And then I'm going to go in with this Dollar Tree glow-in-the-dark skeleton. I'm going to shove him down into the center of the wreath and go in with my Sharpie black paint pen and color in his eyes like I did the smaller fairy skeletons. So in order to get him to sit in the pumpkin form like I would like him to, I go in with a lighter from the Dollar Tree and try to soften the joints where I want them to bend. With the hands, they're a little thick on the plastic, so I go in with my Cricut X-Acto knife and I cut little grooves out in his hand. Then with a little E6000 and some hot glue and my Dollar Tree craft clips, I put his hands where I want them, put the barbs in those grooves, and glue his hands to the pumpkin form. I also go in with some E6000 and hot glue and glue his skull to the material on the pumpkin wreath form, just so he doesn't fall out. Then I use a little hot glue on his hips just to keep his legs where I'd like them to stay. And I hit the knee joints with the lighter to bend them so it looks like his legs are dangling down. Then with some of the Dollar Tree, they look like twigs, pieces or limbs of trees, I cut them apart and I, with hot glue and E6000, go in and I glue them underneath of his legs so it looks like he's sitting on a pile of tree branches. Then with these bats that I got at a local store, they are a cardstock table scatter. I'm just going to glue them in the pumpkin wreath form and around the skeleton. Once I have that done, I go in with this paper stock. I'm not sure if I got it at Joann's or if I got it at Michael's, but I end up going with this little tag that says Happy Halloween and it has some moon and stars around it. I'm using my Cricut paper cutter, which, oh my gosh, guys, if you don't have one, they're a good investment. You can literally cut right along the lines of the colors and just cut out what you want. They're amazing. I love it. So then I decide I'm just going to use the Happy Halloween part. So I cut off the moon and stars and the white edges. And then I'm going to use my hot glue. It says Happy Haunting, not Happy Halloween. And I'm going to glue that right up there on the stem of my pumpkin wreath form. Just like that. And I do reinforce the back. Then I take my smaller fairy skeletons is what I'm going to call them. And again, with the lighter, I'm going to just hit the joints a little bit. Now, if you're going to do this, I would suggest being very careful around these little skeletons' hands. One of them did lose a finger. It just melted and folded right into the next one. But you can't really tell unless you're really inspecting this wreath very closely. Now, I can't take credit for the idea of turning these small skeletons into fairy skeletons. I did see it on a YouTube channel that I like to watch. I can't remember. If I do remember and I find it, I will link it. But I go in with this sturdy wire that I've had for a long time. And I'm going to cut 2 pieces of it and take it and hot glue it to the spine of the little skeletons. If I were to do this again, I would take the wire and hot glue it to the spines, and then I would put the wings on. So if you're going to do this craft, that would just be my suggestion. Once I get the wire glued onto the skeletons, I'm going to go in and cut off the excess and push the wires down into the floral form, leaving the fairy skeletons hanging out just outside of the pumpkin wreath form. Once those are set where I want, I go in with a few more of the cardstock bat table scatter, folding their wings just for a little dimension. Then I'm going in with these Dollar Tree bones and placing them underneath the skeleton along with the branches that I put under there, so it looks like he's not only sitting on the branches, but he's also sitting on some bones from past skeletons. And then I'm going to add in a couple of skulls just to complete the look. I'd like to say thank you to everybody who watches my videos and comments. I really appreciate it. So don't forget, if you like what you see, hit that thumbs up button. Leave a comment in the comments section, and if you're new to my channel, hit the subscribe button, and when the bell appears, you can choose to be notified anytime I upload a video. Have a wonderful day.